Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dead Rising playthrough. Frank's got a nice ass. Anyway, I said last time I would tell you what you unlock for beating the helicopter. You get the Special Forces uniform. You get the pro wrestling outfits for doing a certain amount of kills with like bare hands. There's a lot of different things you can get. Like, you can get Arthur's boxers from Ghosts and Goblins if you do the 7 day, if you do the endless mode for 7 in-game days, which takes like I think 12 hours of in-game time.
It's a really long time, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't save in the middle of an endless mode run, so you have to be playing Dead Rising for like 12 straight hours.
It was considered the most ridiculous achievement back in 2006 because it was just like, no one's going to complete Dead Rising because that 7-day stuff, having to play for like 12 hours, is like, geez. You actually have to hoard real food.
Yeah, it's not just like you can lock yourself in a closet for the whole time, too, because you slowly deplete health as you go, so you have to keep on looking for food. And since you have a limited amount of inventory, you can't just hoard food the entire time. And there's also a limited amount of food, so you can, at a certain point, you have to start killing psychopaths in order to get more food. So it's pretty ridiculous.
But it's a mode for you guys if you're looking for a real survival aspect to Dead Rising.
It is fun. It's just not something I'm playing for 12 hours.
I just wish the top achievement to achieve wasn't like 7 days or something. Like, good lord.
Yeah, it takes forever.
Like, maybe 3 days, like the actual game, but I don't know. It seems like, even still, too much.
I wonder if that guy's a boss.
Nah.
Yeah, you know.
Couldn't be.
Nah, scars, bald. That seems a little ridiculous.
Leader of a paramilitary group.
So anyway, I don't know if you actually need to see that cutscene or if it's optional or anything. Isabella, you okay?
Do you have to fight that guy, or can you just,
So, I mean, I guess we should just start talking about it now. If you get the story all the way up to the facts, which is beating the butcher guy and talking to Carlito and then breaking into his computer, you unlock... Oh! I forgot that...
Song of Double Time.
Yeah. So if you get the story up to the facts, instead of just leaving when you get the helicopter on noon, what happens is that you'll see what happens because of the cutscene coming up. But there will be overtime mode, which is an extra like 12 hours in game of gameplay, where you get the true ending of the game effectively.
Why isn't anyone coming for me? I dressed up in this stupid outfit just so that anyone looking down from a helicopter would recognize me immediately.
Wait, I'd know that giant yellow Lego head anywhere. That's Frank West!
He's still alive.
You can tell it's him.
I recognize those nipples anywhere.
Can't wait to get my share of the take.
Man, those 16 straight watches of the Lego movie finally did me something good. Okay, so what actually happens to the helicopter is just baffling to me, because it would make sense to me if, like, the military shot him down, because I'm assuming this is a no-flight zone by this point.
Yeah.
But instead of that happening, a zombie got in there somehow and kills him, and that's how he dies.
My only thing, I guess the only way I could, like, rationalize it is like, okay, he wouldn't have parked on another building unless the military was there and there happened to be a zombie on the building, so this is why a zombie shows up in the helicopter for this ending. I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's just... It's like, he didn't notice the zombie was in there the entire time.
Yeah. Why wouldn't the zombie go for him instead of, like, hopping in?
Maybe it's comfy in there. Who knows?
Mike!
Yeah, that's our second Capcom game where a helicopter guy dies. Who was supposed to help us, and we barely knew him.
Aw, poor helicopter guy. That's about as cursed as being the only black guy left in the movie by this point.
Ah.
You see, Frank seems relatively chipper about this whole situation, though.
Oh no, Miss Bond!
So yeah, that's the end of the game.
Bleak.
You know, it's a zombie story, so they rarely have happy endings, so it makes sense. It's a little weird though that discovering the truth leads to Frank dying, but whatever. Yeah, so the first time you play the game, like the credits will play up to that point, but I cut that because we'll watch those at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Everything's wonderful.
I failed, Miss Tron.
You know what? That should have been an outfit for Isabella as a trombone outfit. Somebody hacked that into the Steam version. What?
I thought the eyeball had a teardrop.
I gotta edit that in. There's a sad teardrop on the surfbot mask. The single tear rolling down his face.
I can see for forever.
Actually, that reminds me. In Dead Rising 4, you can wear the Surfbot mask again, but in Dead Rising 4, the face will actually change depending on whether Frank's taking damage or something. So, like, the eyes will close when you get hit and stuff. So, like,
that's
the
cute.
Surfbot face is actually animated in 4.
Did you play 4?
I've seen footage of it. I haven't played it myself, but
Yeah.
I remember thinking that was cute as hell. I was like, oh my god, the Surfbot mask animates.
You see, 4 is weird because I haven't played it for myself, but I know that a lot of people really don't like it. Like, a lot of Dead Rising fans think that it's the worst game in the series. What's interesting, though, is that it actually takes place in the same mall as this game.
Yeah.
So it uses a lot of the same architecture and stuff, like in map layout. So, like, I mean, I can understand why people would be upset by that, though, because it's pretty blatant fan, like, overdoing
Frank West
the fan
has to go back
service.
to Willamette. And,
Yeah.
oh no, the mall gets taken over by zombies. What are the odds?
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, they put Willamette Mall back into another Dead Rising game. Jeez, are they just ever going to stop doing Willamette Mall Zone over and over as the first level? Ridiculous. Oh yeah, also we got infected.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're talking over this, but Frank is infected.
I don't know how Frank ever could have gotten infected by zombies. As you saw through my perfect gameplay, Frank didn't even get bit like once. You know.
Is that I get to spend longer waiting for the inevitable. Is that it?
I want someone to hack in like a modulated version where it's the Surbot voice whenever he's wearing this helmet.
Oh.
Cutscenes.
I've covered wars, you know.
You see, now I'm imagining one of the Servbots in Mega Man Legends. Like, you see most of them are small, but then one's just suddenly 3 times taller and with the boxers on.
No one's coming to help us now.
Yeah, I've never seen the ending of this game before, so I'm actually quite I keep forgetting to talk because I'm interested in what's happening.
You're curious to see how he gets out of this one?
Overtime mode's actually very interesting because in terms of the structure, it's very, very different. Because instead of, having to do a bunch of tasks as they come, pretty much, you're given one big task and a time limit to achieve it. Because Isabella's a scientist, they mention at some point, so she's like, okay, find me all this crap, and I'll be able to do it, and maybe we'll be able to delay your zombification process a little bit. So you're essentially given free reign to run them on the mall, and you have to find all the different stuff scattered around it, and you can do it in pretty much any order you want, which is interesting, because you generally didn't ever plan to just go from point to point around the mall, or at least I didn't ever. I was always thinking, okay, I need to do this in the mall, and I'm going to see what else can I do at the same time in order to be as efficient as possible. Does that make sense? So it's a different gameplay feeling. It's also the only mode in the game that can be sped ran because it's the only one that has like an ending that's not done to a timer, because like every Dead Rising speed run theoretically lasts the same amount of time because you have to wait the in-game clock out in order to get to 12 hours, So
24 hours remain. 12
Yeah.
hours. You sure?
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a boat.
What in the...
Oh, yeah, they're
They're
drones.
drones.
They're drones now. Like, I mean, they look a little bit like RC copters, but yeah, they're drones.
That's an...
You get extra points for shooting them out of the sky, though, which is pretty cool.
That's a pretty optimistic design for a spy drone. Like, I've seen what real life drones look like, and they're pretty, they don't look like actual helicopters, I'll say that.
They're also much bigger than you think they are.
Oh, you know what? That doesn't surprise me, but I'm also, I feel like even if they are bigger than what I thought they were, they're probably still bigger than what I thought they were,
You actually use one in Judgment, the Yakuza spin-off. Both for, spying on people and for airborne Mario Kart races. Believe it or
Yeah,
not.
that sounds like a Yakuza game already.
It's pretty cool.
So I actually like this part of the game a lot because there's a point in the mall where all the zombies are gone. Like the military actually wiped them all up, but the military's also wandering around. So it gives the mall a much different feeling, which is really cool. Like I'm a fan of whenever a game can take a setting that you're used to and make it feel very different. And this part of the game does that really well, I think.
Yeah.
The zombies do come back, granted, because, fun fact, the helicopter that crashed landed on the clock tower. And under the clock tower, there's a secret passage that leads to a military facility. And there were zombies there, apparently. So the zombies managed to get back into the mall from there somehow. I don't know. It's just roll with it.
We need an excuse. But Dead Rising definitely has a lot of multiple endings to this game that don't go into overtime mode. Like, if you don't do any of the plot, you can just, like, rescue all the survivors, and then the helicopter comes, picks you up, and you're fine. You get out of Willamette, but you don't have the story. You don't have the explanation for why the zombies are here, but you get out fine.
If you like, no matter what you do, if you don't do the story and you just aren't on the helicopter pad at noon, the guy just leaves without you, and so you don't. There's a different ending for that too.
When Carlito's setting up the bombs, if you don't deactivate those in time, the mall blows up, and that's an ending. If the military capture you, because they can, knock you out and then put you into their helicopter before your helicopter arrives, then they take you away and you get locked up by the military.
I think they end up blaming the whole thing on you as well, or
I think so. Maybe.
Something like that.
Huh.
I'm also incredibly lucky that didn't explode on on me there, the propane tank.
Propane and propane accessories.
Also, before someone asks, yes, it was necessary to kill that Special Forces person with the plates. Why would you ask? Ow!
You can just feel the gravity of Frank West's situation.
Hey, man, you broke my bike! I'm gonna follow you for the next 4 seasons of anime for that.
He's got 24 hours to live. Let him have his fun.
Yeah, so you're supposed to walk all the way around the mall in order to find all this stuff, but obviously, since we've seen the mall already, I'm cutting past a good amount of it.
Coffee filters?
I'm sure it's definitely necessary for curing.
No,
chronic.
it's just for my coffee.
Can't blame you for that.
If I'm gonna stay awake long enough to make this, I'm gonna need coffee. Oh dear.
You know, you'd think that a helicopter landing on that would make a bigger hole, all things considered.
Well, it didn't.
Man, it's chilly out here. What if I wore more clothes?
Nah, that'd be stupid.
What are they gonna do? Infect me twice?
That's a good point. Ooh, mosh pit! Yeah!
How did that happen?
We don't look. Willamette makes no sense. Because,
Kicks him.
like, this. Okay, this, like, passage leading to the military installation on the other side is a bit infamous with fans because, like, you see the entire town overhead at the beginning of the game from the helicopter, and there's no military base there. So where is the military base? How far does that underground tunnel go? We don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Why is there a tunnel there in the first place?
We don't know.
Why would the military need a tunnel from their military base to this exact public location?
You know what? They probably really wanted some of the tacos from the food court. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, this all is about Americans being gluttons, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
We synthesized them in the lab.
Hey, finger guns.
He was looking to protect himself from his own terrorist scheme.
Is that right, Miss Tron?
Would you stop speaking like that, Frank?
Sorry. I mean, sorry.
Am I your favorite servbot, Isabella?
You're the only one here, Frank.
So I am.
Even if this,
Play Mega Man Legends.
even if you do
It's still. Is it on PS4 or just PS3 right now?
It's on the PlayStation Network, so you can play it on your PS3, Vita, PSP.
Okay, but not PS4. Okay.
Wears off.
Yeah, because PS4 didn't get classics for some reason.
Still baffles me, but
I
you
know. You would think, like, with the infrastructure, they would just take the PSN system and put it into the PS4, but apparently not. I don't know.
Like, I mean, granted, I do understand that there are rights issues, but you think that they'd be able to have a lot more than what they got.
well, it's the only hope I've got now.
You know what, Frank? Maybe Mega Man Legends 3 will come out someday. But
Now I have to live.
you know what? There's always Red Ash, right? Right?
Oh, jeez.
This is all I need as far as supplies are concerned. Now all we need are some queens.
Oh, right. I forgot. Where are we going to get Beyonce at this time of day?
Listen,
That last thing did make me think, though. It's like, yeah, Red Ash by Keiji Inafune. You know, Inafune is a big... He's pretty responsible for Dead Rising, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Even in Dead Rising 2, Chuck Green's yellow jacket, his stunt jacket that he's wearing, it's KG backwards on the back of it. It's like Ejek or something.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that's KG backwards.
Man. You see, I know... Like, I mean, you're right. Like, I know that he definitely gets a bad rap these days because of how Mighty Number 9 went, but I do think he did a really good job on both this game and Dead Rising 2. I feel like, you know, it's when you put your name on a project like that.
You kind of get the blame or the credit.
The issue is
pretty much,
that
yeah.
there are plenty of people out there who are great game designers but terrible at business.
Yeah.
And that had a lot to do with how Mighty Number 9 turned out.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my god!
Wait, oh my god, what?
So, okay, so... Oh god, I forget the exact reasons for this, but basically, when you get infected, there's like a grace period before you actually become zombified, pretty much. And so there were a bunch of kids in Santa Cabeza that got infected, but didn't quite become zombies yet because Carlito gave them the drug. So what that basically means is that after a certain point, many of those kids are going to become zombies and then start other zombie outbreaks across the country, effectively.
Sequel bait.
I don't know what's worse.
Also, fun fact, if you look at the list of names there, none of them are Nick Ramos, and that is important for later on in the story.
Well, okay then.
I mean, this isn't something that will come up until, like, Dead Rising 3, but it's just one of those things where they didn't... they had a list of everybody who was one of those kids that got infected. One of those kids that was infected became important in the story later, and they didn't use one of the names that they had already given.
What? Okay.
But anyway, that's not important. We have to go and find a bunch of bees now. The easiest way to do
Bees,
this
my
is to
God.
drink as much orange juice as possible.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
You heard him.
So there are blenders in the mall, and if you put two different blenders, if you put two different food items into the blender, you get a. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Oh.
New Cybot
That's
wins.
Yeah, I was. For some reason, I walked into the park, and
There's no
There's
music
no
this
sound.
happened. Yeah, so there's no sound playing either. There was no sound in the game. Like that's not the video. That actually happened.
Well, okay.
That's like suddenly
That's-
we stepped into frickin' Morrowind or something.